Hello, in this video, I'm going to present a quick overview of Concerto portal, how Concerto portal can be used to deploy new tenants and create configurations easily and create sites and appliances and then provision them very easily from Concerto portal. So what you're looking at is a login page of Concerto portal. Let me log in as administrator user. For the administrator user, what you can see here, there is four different life cycles here on the left side. One is the tenants page. So for service provider deployments, it can be the end customer users here. For enterprise end customer tenants here. For the service provider for enterprise deployments, these can be the enterprise. In addition to the main enterprise, you can have subtenants for various departments. So these are various tenants, onboarded onto the Concerto portal. So the next life cycle is inventory life cycle, where you can see the inventory information of all the appliances, onboarded onto this Concerto portal, managed by the Concerto portal. So that includes, to which tenant a given, device appliance belong to, and then the site name and its hardware model number. And then if it is a non-virtual machine based appliance, you will see the hardware serial number here, and then what software version is running, and then what security package is running, and what OSS pack is running here, and the number of alarms on those, on each one of these appliances. So this will provide, administrator user complete view of all the, appliances inventory in one place on a per tenant by tenant basis. So you can filter if you have like I have only one tenant, with appliances here, but if you have multiple tenants, you can actually, select a specific tenant and then see the inventory information for that tenant. So the next life cycle here is users and roles life cycle. There are two parts here. One is users. You see the list of users on this portal as administrator, service provider administrator role. In the case of enterprise, again you'll see all the enterprise users here. It's here who are actually responsible for the administration of the portal. So the next one is the roles, right? In roles, you have the default roles. So these are the different types of roles. One is administrator role, and the another one is operator role. Under administrator role, you have one default administrator, what we call it service provider administrator. And if you want, like, you can create more custom roles here within that each category, administrator category and operator category. There are two categories of roles here. So, and then for each of these users, you can attach them to, one or more different types of roles. Okay. Now let me show you how to add a new tenant. So click on this plus tenant here, and then give you a name for the tenant, and then choose a parent tenant. So you can, if you are, if you want to create subtenants under existing customer tenant, you can choose the customer tenant, or you choose the provider tenant here. And, you choose the director on which you wanted to onboard this, the new tenant. If you have more than one director complexes attached to the Concerto portal already, you can choose more than one director complexes here. So in this, Concerto system, I have only single director. That's why you're seeing only one of them. And you click next. And then here is the resources that are available at the parent level. You can select them here and then propagate them to the new tenant that is being created. So basically, the idea here is the administrators, they can create golden profiles in the system under the parent tenant, and when a, new children is added to the a new child is added to the Concerto portal, you can choose these golden profiles and then propagate them so that you don't need to rebuild them under each tenant, right? So for example, I have under security, there is a default security profile, which you can use directly in each of these the tenants. And when you're creating a new tenant, you choose it, right? And then it will appear in the under the new tenant. Under the new tenant, you can go and modify it as need basis, or you can clone it and create a newer version, and then add more configuration to that security profile. So let me choose this as an example, and then you go next, and then this is where you can attach various roles of users associated this tenant, right? By default, yeah, service provider, roles, and these are the four default roles: a service provider administrator, or service provider operator, enterprise administrator, and enterprise operator. If you have more custom roles created either on the under the service provider or under the parent enterprise, parent tenant, they will appear here. So you can choose those so that like the same roles are available for the users of uh, the new tenant that is being created. Let me pick all these roles that we have. So we go and click, and as you can see here, the new tenant is being provisioned, and it's being pushed to the Versa director and the controllers. So when the director, as and when the director is provisioning the new tenant on the DCA complex, we get the feedback from the director, and using the Kafka messages, the Concerto learns those, reads those, and then updates its status. And as you can see here, this is the running messages that are coming from this particular Versa director, right? Yes. Now this new tenant called Acme is created on this portal, right? Now, if to enter into this portal, Acme, right? So you go here and then click on Acme. Now you are in Acme land, right? So this is your user is under this new tenant called Acme. So in each tenant, there are various life cycles again, similar to what we have seen at the system level or the service provider level. Within each tenant, we have configuration lifecycle, deploy, monitor and analytics, and then inventory information, specific to that tenant, and users and roles. In addition, yeah, you have the back button. When you click on this tenants, user will be taken to the tenants page. Depends on the role of the user, right? If user is an enterprise user, the user can only see the current enterprise here, right? And they will not be able to see the rest of the tenants here. On the other hand, if the user is a service provider administrator, the user gets to see all the tenants. Okay, so let me take you to the configuration lifecycle. By default, uh, Concerto portal for every tenant comes with one master profile here, which can be modified to the tenant's requirements, and apply it on one or more appliances. Or you can clone the default master profile and create new profiles, and then modify the new profile also to cater to a specific subset of the appliances, right? Before we create, as part of creating this tenant, we chose one of the security profile, to be available to this tenant. So this is what we created, right? So this is what inherited or propagated from the parent. Okay. Now let me get into like how you can edit this the default basic master profile, and create a new site, and you create a new appliance, and attach this profile to the appliance, and then propagate it to the director, so that the director will have all the configuration required for that new appliance. um, and when you turn up the appliance with the serial number and connects to the director, the zero-touch provisioning process starts on the director, and the once the GTP process completed, the director informs the Concerto portal about the status of this new appliance being coming online. Okay, let me quickly open this. The before doing that, let me clone it so that you can keep this default master profile version 1 as a golden version. So let me build, for example, I want to build a profile for my West Coast, right? West Coast, all the sites on in the West Coast. Okay, so let me clone it, and over here you open it, and this is a summary page where there is a name, and then you need to attach this to the solution tier that you're going to provision on the director and the appliance. And you can see what are all the interfaces that are provisioned by default. Now you go here to the profile and then select network. So this is the default, network topology. Basically, the device is connected to 3 WAN interfaces, and then let's say your device is not going to be having the LTE interface just deleted. So the LTE interface is deleted, and if you want the yeah, as you can see here, you click here, and then you can see the two interface internet one, whose location is VNI00, and then select the which WAN networks you wanted to attach to. So I'm attaching this internet one to internet one. Okay, let me save it, and let me edit WAN interface here, which is private, and the name is private. If you want to change, you can change it. Let's say I want to call it MPLS, right? And and the connection type is MPLS. There are two types of connections. Is it broadband or MPLS? And the connection name is, you can choose one of these that are actually created on the director, which is going to be a circuit or connection name. Okay. And then you choose the static IP address for this. You'd say like my MPLS address, and give MPLS gateway. So the way you can parameterize any attribute is by giving a dollar in the front, and then giving a name, meaningful name. So what it means is, when you apply this profile on multiple appliances, you will have to fill the value for each one of these variables for each of the appliances independently. If you give absolute value here, like for example, let me give the no, the DNS server, right, which is like, let's say something like right, and you want to give secondary to be like a Google DNS. So these are absolute now values, right? So you won't be wherever this profile is applied, all the appliances get the same values. Okay, so here you can configure any static routes that you wanted. By default, we actually create if it is static, then we do create a default route using the gateway. So if you want to add additional static routes pointing to a different next stop, you can do that here. And you can run routing protocols like for example BGP. So you go and then create the ASN number. Let's say you can or parameterize it. You would add the next hop, let's say being the same as MPLS gateway, right? So if you are peering with that, and ASN number is the other side, the peer out of ASN number. Let me give that. And in addition, you can actually monitor this link, right? By default, the monitoring is enabled, and the system monitors, generates configuration that makes the appliance monitor the gateway here, right? The next hop gateway using the ICMP. And here you configure all the QoS related stuff. So I'll just skip all of these for now, and okay, let me disable it. All right. So the next step is okay. I don't have any guest here. Let me delete it here. No guest Wi-Fi. If you have enterprise Wi-Fi on the box, you can keep this. You get to change the SSIDs, um, and also you can parameterize the password here. You can change the various what protocol that you wanted to use for the authentication of the Wi-Fi, what kind of encryption you wanted to use. All of that can be configured. But by default, with system, built-in profile comes with the WPA2, and then the password is parameterized. Okay, let me keep the enterprise Wi-Fi. All right. Let me go back here. And on the LAN, right? So let me delete guest interface also. What we deleted was guest Wi-Fi settings. That is WLAN service. I'm deleting guest Wi-Fi. So on the yeah, so this is a default setting for WLAN, the Wi-Fi interface for enterprise, right? And there is parameterized IP address on the interface. It is part of Acme Enterprise Network. It is not guest, right? And the same thing here. This is wired connection, which has a parameterized IP address here. If you wanted to turn on DHCP relay, you can do that. You can, if you want to turn on any VRRP protocol on it, when you are having active or active standby deployments, you can turn on that on this interface. And again, here the VPN is part of this. This interface is part of the VPN Acme Enterprise. Okay. In addition, you can configure static routes and routing protocols, right? Similar to the WAN interfaces and QoS as well, right? I'm skipping all of these, right? No changes, so save button is not activated. So let me close it. And next, here you can configure our security related policies. Here you can configure QoS application cost configurations, and then event traffic steering. I will cover those in separate videos in depth. And here you can configure DHCP servers. By default, it comes with the 3 DHCP servers because we have 3 LAN interfaces. Let me remove DHCP for the guest because we don't have that enabled anymore on the system in this part of this profile. So these are the 2 DHCP servers that comes by default. Okay. Let me close those. And here, like 2 VPNs. One is for the enterprise by default. As you can see, it comes with the DIA enabled. Since DIA is enabled, you need to choose on which interface you want to do the DIA and the priority one. This is where I want to do direct internet access. Or if you don't want any DIA, you want to only send all the traffic on the overlay, then you just turn it off. So but let me keep it on and then choose this, and that's it. And then you can use topology as well here for this via VPN on the appliance where this profile is applied. If the hubs are there in the network, then you can choose you wanted to do traffic only to the hubs, or you can choose okay, traffic is allowed between the spokes, but the traffic has to be steered via hub. So you choose the spoke to spoke via hub. Okay. Let me save this. And the guest VPN, we are not enabling any guest. Let me delete it. Right. That's it. So now, as you can see, we cloned a master profile called West Coast MP and edited it. Then it created a newer version because we modify the content of it. As you can see here, there are 2 LAN interfaces, enterprise LAN and enterprise Wi-Fi, and there are 2 WAN interfaces, internet and MPLS. and then there is one the WLAN, it's the SSID of that WLAN for the enterprise. And if you want to see various versions for the same profile, you click here, then it expands into, to show all the profiles. There are two versions, version 1 and version 2. Click basic, you go back to this folder. Now, let me go to deploy lifecycle and then show you how you can create a new site. Site is nothing but a location where you give the street address and you give a name, and then you create appliances under that site. So you can create one or more appliances under that site. Okay, let me pick a site. Let's say Dallas, right? And then give. You don't have to give all the street addresses. If you want precise location on the map, if you want to see that site, then you give the complete address. Otherwise, just to give the bare minimum whatever you need to, the bare minimum information that you need to give is a country. Okay, USA. And when you have multiple directors, providing services, right? You choose on which director you wanted to onboard this site for this tenant. Since we have only one director, that got selected automatically, right? This is it. A new site is created, and then you double click on that honeycomb. So now you are inside, Dallas site. You see this, right? There are no appliances. It's empty site because we just created. Now the next step is, do you want to create a hub there, or you want to create an appliance, then regular appliance, right? So let me create a regular appliance here and give you a name of the appliance. The Dallas device 1D1, and then you give a serial number for that serial number of the device that is going to be shipped there. Or if you want to do URL-based GTP for the device, then you select that GTP type to be URL, and then you pick the controllers which is going to be doing the zero-touch provisioning process for that site, and then which on which WAN interfaces on the controller the device is going to be connected to. If you are selecting the serial number, you don't need to have any of this, because you will be putting that bootstrap configuration on the appliance directly. So let me give some random number for the serial number here, and you pick the bandwidth that you want to provision on the appliance for the licensing purpose. Let's say 200 Mbps is the total bandwidth of that this appliance is going to be provisioned with. And since we are creating a new appliance, so as part of the appliance creation, you can set a profile, configuration profile, or you can just save this and then go back, come back later, and then set the profile and then proceed further. So for this demo, I'm skipping the set profile here. As you can see here, a new site under the new site Dallas, a new appliance is created. Dallas Dev1 is the appliance name, and you can see on the right side, how many devices are there under this site. There's one appliance, and then what is the status of it? A pending profile means there's no profile attached to it yet. So now, when you see this gear icon here, when you mouse over, you see the status of this appliance. So it says pending profile. So the next step is to set a profile, right? So let's attach configuration profile. One of the configuration profile that are that are available here, right? So let me pick this West Coast MPv2. That's the profile that we just created. Let me apply. So profile is successfully set. Now under the publication status, you can see the status. The new status of this appliance is pending variables. So basically, we attach the profile for this appliance, but there are bind variables inside that profile that we attached, which need to be filled for this particular appliance. And in the profile assignment tab here, monitor, you see the name of the profile and list of appliances where this particular profile is attached, right? If you have multiple appliances on different profiles, you'll see this, donut chart changing accordingly. So let me then view the configuration to fill the bind data variables. So when you click on, let me show you again. So when you click on view configuration, you see the configuration profile that we created in here, right? The profile is cloned for this particular appliance. Now you can fill the values for various interfaces, right? For example, we have three interface IP addresses that need to be filled. These are the names of those variables. So enterprise LAN, let's say it's going to be 10.1.1/24, and the Wi-Fi is going to be on 1.1.2.1/24, and the MPLS is going to be 172.16 1.1/24, let's say. Okay, these are the various IP addresses, right? Um, Let me save that, and then you can see here, when you mouse over, you see the bind variables with the values on the top, and the red dot is disappeared. It means that all the values are filled for this interface IP type variables. So click on this. This is MPLS gateway. So let's say 116.1.2 is the gateway of the MPLS, and then give some password, right, for the Wi-Fi password, right? So as you can see here, now the bind variables are all filled. There is no red dot you can see here, and just save it. Now the status of this appliance transition to pending publication, right? Now the next step is, if you mouse over here, says pending publication, publish. The publish is an action. When you publish, the Concerto portal, compiles all the configuration from the profile and provision the director with appropriate, post-staging template for this appliance and the device group. It creates a device workflow. All of that is done as part of this publish action. See, as you can see here, the Concerto portal is working on, working on various tasks as part of provisioning the director with the required information, right? So now it is successfully deployed on the director. But remember, the appliance is not bootstrapped yet. When you bootstrap a new appliance with this particular serial number, the director has all the information required to complete the zero-touch provisioning process, and the appliance comes online, and then the director portal reports to the Concerto about the reachability of the new device and its state completed, right? Zero touch provisioning. Okay. As far as the deploy lifecycle is concerned for this appliance, the work is done. The work is basically, you created a site. Go back here. You created a site, and then you created one appliance underneath. This is the number that indicates how many appliances are under Dallas, and here you can see the site level. Actually, the whole enterprise level status here. How many sites are there, and how many the appliances in various states here. You can see it. Okay. The next step is, once you bootstrap the device, it comes online, and then you can see the various states of these appliances. Honeycomb colors changing to reflect the state. Okay.